Okay, good afternoon. For the students of Kirini State University, I am going to give you the first code for today, and that is AU, Alpha Umbrella. Thank you. I'll be giving the next code towards the end of the session.
Thank you so much, sir. And good afternoon to everybody. Today we are going to start the second day of this faculty exchange program between Quirino State University and School of Education, Adamas University. Today's session will be delivered by Professor Dr. Prarthita Vishwas. She is the head of the Department of School of Education, Adamas University. She is a very good academician and a researcher, and she has a lot of research articles in her credit. Now she will be going to deliver on a very recent topic, that is career counseling. Over to Dr. Prarthita Vishwas, ma'am.
Okay, a very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you, Bogda ma'am, for the introduction. As always, which I ask to the audience, I hope that I am audible. Okay, and at the same time, I hope that I am visible also. Though when I will be sharing the PPT, due to some network congestion, I may be switching off the video because I think that would be more great. And good afternoon to Amit sir or Professor Bautista. It's been lovely seeing you again. Okay, so good afternoon, and to all the dignitaries present from Quirino State University, the students, I think that there are quite a number of students, and today we have a burning topic we will be discussing, rather I will be discussing upon career planning. It is quite different from the one which the Professor Bautista spoke on action research the last day, which was very much proper, and we were very much enlightened with his speech. But today we will be speaking, or rather I will be speaking on one topic which will be based on your career or career goals or career planning. So that is something which is very important for all of us, for all the students. So I would also like to have an interaction session with you all because through the interaction session, we will be able to know and develop each other the meaning of career planning. And I believe that there are a lot of students here in this platform who are very much interested to know about the career planning and about the perspectives. Okay. So without wasting any further time, I will just share my slide. Just a minute. Okay, so since there are a lot of slides, I think that due to some problem, the slides will not get elongated. But in any case, that is not a problem. I will be explaining to you properly in a more proper way that how this thing will be done. And the career planning first, I will be starting with the macro goal. Do you know, can you tell me the difference between micro and macro? Can anyone tell me the difference between micro and macro? You can raise your hand, and at the same time, you can also ask, you can unmute and you can ask. So anyone who has any idea about the difference between micro and macro?
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, micro is small, whereas macro is a bigger concept.
Okay, very good. So, first of all, when we are going in the 21st century, we are going to make a smart career plan. It is not only a career plan which we will be discussing, but basically we will be having a smart career planning where we will be discussing upon the macro goal. First of all, we will be having a macro goal, and based on that, we may have some pointers, and depending on that, we can have the micro goal. So, first of all, we will have to note it down that what are the different types of macro goal you have for the career planning concept. And then we will have to move to the step 2, that is the micro goal. Okay. So there is a bigger aspect of macro planning, and after that you will have to go to the aspect of micro planning goal. Next, there is a step. First, I will be telling you the steps, then I will be going to the details of it. And now then we will have to make it attainable. Now there is something which is related to the macro goal as well as to the micro goal. But we will have to make it in such a way, the plan should be such that it should be attainable. It should be realistic. And at the same time, this type of career planning, especially when we are doing in a professional course or professional program, through that program, you will be going to a career-oriented opportunity, then your goal should be time-bound. Okay? So it should be such that the way and the aspect should be time-bound. Now coming to the next slide, first I will start with the introduction. So what is meant by career? So career is something, it covers all types of employment. Now it ranges from semi-skilled to skilled as well as semi-professional to professional. So something which is not fully skilled, at the same time partly skilled, at the same time it may be semi-skilled also, and there may be semi-professional persons also in a career which covers all ranges, and at the same time it may be professional also. So this term career, this has been restricted to suggest an employment commitment to a single state skill, profession or business firm for the entire working life of a person. So here I am not only focusing on education sector. Since this topic is quite huge and general in nature, so of course it will be such, then it will be employment which is dependent on a lot of aspects. So it can be something which can be very much important. At the same time, it is a commitment to which you are doing for yourself. So as a result of that, this is something which is very important, and at the same time, it is some commitment which you are making to a person or to an employer whom you are having a business dealings or a professional dealing, or you are making it to a global person or to a local person or to a national person. So this is something which is very much important. Now, when we speak about career, we have spoken about the term career, right? Now, what is career planning? I have already discussed with you about the micro goals, about the macro goals, about each and every aspects of a career development. Now, career planning is very much related to counseling. Counseling is something which is by means by one person helps another through purposeful conversation. So, when we go for counseling or career counseling, we actually, this is basically a method of identifying practical solution to an identified problem. So when you are trying to go, if you are wanting to become a doctor or you are wanting to become an engineer, you may be interested in physics, chemistry, mathematics, or you may be interested in physics, chemistry, mathematics, and technical subjects. Now, since science students have a diversified choice and diversified topics, so as a result of that, they are quite bound that whether they will enter into some sort of a field which may be related to being a doctor or an engineer. In an engineering level also, there are 3 or 4 sectors. So through these 3 or 4 sectors, what are the types of engineering? For example, mechanical engineering, electronic engineering, electrical, computer. So these types of confusion are very much relevant to a young person. Okay, they are feeling that these are what are the ways, what are the activities. So here comes the part of counseling. So in this counseling, when you are trying to go for a macro plan, and then you come to a micro plan, which I have already discussed with you. And there you will find that there will be a lot of aspects, lot of aspirations, which are very much important for a single person or for a single teacher or a counselor. Because nowadays in different educational institutions, we do hire a counselor as well as a person who helps the students in doing the various types of career plans. So basically, the role of a counseling session in a career planning is to identify the practical solution to an identified problem. Maybe you are facing a problem with whatever profession you are trying to choose, you are quite confused with that. So as a result of that, you will find that there are numerous types of activities which are very much important. Okay. So this is something which is very, very important, and at the same time, very much important aspect for you to go, that what are the types of career planning. And another thing I'm telling, this is my personal experience seeing many students over the years, because they are mainly training students ranging from school level till college level. You should have a very good methodology in mind, that what are the career development or career prospects you are trying to have, or the plan you want to have in your mind. Because if you want to go to a career and you are not supposed to basically go into that particular aspect, but still you are forced to, then you will never be successful. So the type of studies, the type of planning, the type of career counseling which you need to do, you need to do it at a very proper rate. And at the same time, it should be something which will be related to a smart career planning. Nowadays, it's not about totally elaborate and everything which you are going through. It should be something which you will be able to plan at your own right, at your own context, so that it would be a very much fruitful for you in the long run. It is not about fulfilling the aspirations of your parents also. Sometimes there are many unfortunately cases where we find that career planning has been done keeping in mind the aspirations of a parent. But we see in the long run that somewhat or somewhere in the context of life, we feel that maybe they have not been able to do or succeed in life due to that failed way of not being able to speak their mind of what they want to do in their life. So this is something which is very important. Now, why do we need career planning? We must be knowing that what is the need for career planning. Because if we want to survive in this world, if we want to have some competitive edge or competitive environment, it is always not important to be the best, but it is actually evolving yourself. Don't think that I am trying to be competent enough. I am competing with my friends, I am competing with my peers, I am competing with the global persons, my global friends. They have become so and so, such and such. So I will have to be also like that. It is not like that. Your competition will be with yourself only. And as I believe in the interactive process, can any of you can tell me that who actually, can you raise your hand actually? I'm especially asking to the students that do you have an idea of self-assessment? Who has an idea of self-assessment? Please raise your hand. I want to know that how many of you have the idea of self-assessment and self-evaluation? Can you please raise your hand or write in the chat box? Is it possible? Because I am not going to ask you question, or I am not going to grill you in any way. Okay, so can anyone, because I see that nobody has the idea of self-assessment or self-evaluation. Out of the 190 odd participants, excluding our faculty and dignitaries, and now it's 191, no student has any idea about self-assessment or self-evaluation. I will not take the answer from Professor Bautista. I'm very sorry, because Professor Bautista already knows. Sorry, sir. I will be asking to the students. So, Ayona, can you tell me about the idea? Because I told you in advance that I will be actually having an interaction session also. This is not only a lecture method. I will not be asking you. You may be having questions. Definitely, I will be asking you questions. Not a problem. You may ask me questions also after this session. But I believe in the interactive process. So, Ayona, do you have any idea about self-evaluation and self-assessment? Ayona, what do you? You can come on camera.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon.
Ma'am, actually, I'm having a network issue. That's why I cannot come into the camera.
Okay, you tell me about the self-evaluation and self-assessment, because you know very well, generally, more or less the students know that there is something of self-assessment and self-evaluation, which is very much related to career planning, right? So just tell me that in one sentence, we don't need a complicated answer. I just need a simple answer. That what is actually the meaning of self-evaluation and self-assessment?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, self-assessment or self-evaluation is basically a part of social psychology, because
Okay.
unless or until we are aware of, self-assessment means to assess oneself, to identify to find out the self-identity, to get the self-identity, to evaluate oneself by our behavior, and how we interact with people, and how we find our place in themselves. All these things are associated with self-assessment, ma'am, and
Okay.
evaluation also.
Okay, thank you so much. So do you believe that, like I said, I have always believed as a teacher that whatever I say, you can always question me, and you know that very well. So do you believe true by your heart only that career planning is very much related to self-assessment and self-evaluation? Or not? I'm asking you.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, am I not audible?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, ma'am. I don't know what problem I'm facing. Yes, ma'am. I believe so. It is associated with career development, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So
Welcome,
thank
ma'am.
you, Professor Bautista. He is encouraging everybody to participate. Though there is a chat message from Regan. I believe that he is a student of Queen State University, and it's been stated by Regan that self-evaluation is a process of analyzing one's self-reflection. So very good. So thank you both to the students of Regan. He is a student of Queen State University, as well as to Oyona. She is the final year B.Ed student of the School of Education, Department of Education, Adams University. We got to know from both of you about this. And Oyona, you can lower your hand, and now it's been done. So when we stand in front of a mirror, this is my understanding, and we ask ourselves the questions. This is a sort of a self-evaluation. Also, there are different types of assessment techniques. And in these assessment techniques, certain techniques are there which are very much important for career planning. career development, and at the same time, there is a term, please mind it, there is a term called career skill assessment. Okay. So, through this career skill assessment, you will be able to know, you will be able to meet your counselor, and if you are still confused, you can go and visit your teacher also, who is your friend, philosopher, and guide. Now, a teacher is basically a facilitator also, to tell you very frankly. I believe that you know that teachers are not only facilitators, but they are mentors also. So they also give you the idea as well as how to set your career objectives. So they also give you an idea that how do you survive in this competitive environment all over the world. Now it's not limited to your city or country. Since the COVID has struck us, it is always understandable to us that this is something which is very much important, that now world has become a global village. And through that, we have to keep on evolving and to stay at our very best. So this is the actual meaning, and the meaning of this context is that you have to make your smart career planning. Mind you, I am telling you again and again, the smart career planning is something which is so very important that you will have to evolve. You have to not prove to any other members of your family, or to your teachers, or to your community members, or to the stakeholders. But definitely, you have to evolve yourself as a better person, as a better leader, so that you can become a very proper person in the long run. So this is something which is very important and which should be noted. Now, when we are discussing about career plan, there needs to be certain components in the career planning which are very much important, and you should be knowing. In fact, if you feel, you can also note it down that there are different components. One being, already I have discussed career planning, another is career development, and another is career management. So the 21st century skills which we will be having other than career planning, when we are planning a career, we will also have to see when we are drawing our graph. Actually, that is why I stated to you about self-assessment and self-evaluation. When you are drawing the macro graph for yourself, because you have to make a smart career plan for yourself, that will be the basis for each and everything. So you have to also see that how your career development will grow and how it will grow in a perfect way. At the same time, career management. Career management is something which is when you have chosen a career, when you have planned a career, now you have to do what? You have to manage that. How we will have to manage that, that is totally up to your skills, up to your aspirations, and up to the way how do you do that. That is something which has been told by Edwin B. Filippo. A career is a sequence of separate but related work activities that provides continuity. So order and meaning to a person's life is one of the main aspects of career management. If you don't have any skills related to career development and management, then you will have to learn and hone that skill. Otherwise, it will become, the career planning will not be successful. So this is something which is very, very important, and at the same time, you will be knowing about it. So career planning as a whole, it is the process by which one selects the career goals. I have already told you before. And how do you actually secure the path to these goals? And of course, in the term of an employer, it is also about helping the employees to actually ascertain their career in terms of their capacity within the context of organizational needs. And also career planning is very much synonymous to the career management. So career planning applies the concept of strategic planning and marketing, and it is taking charge of one's professional future also. So when you are planning something, so these are some of the different persons' experience over their different jobs over a period of time. It is actually a relationship between one or more organizations and the individual. So there has been self-advancement also. We find that along with self-assessment and self-evaluation, we have to become more advanced, and that is known as basically a self-advancement in our career. And basically, career planning is also a sequence of positions of jobs which is held by a person during the course of his working life. So something which is very much important for us in the long run, that is which planning is very much required, and other than this planning, we have a very different sort of a context where everything becomes negative. Now we find at the same time that I have discussed to you in a general way that career planning, career development, and now we will come to the basis of career development. It is actually a formal approach used by an organization to ensure that people with proper qualifications and experience are available when needed. So this is basically a development in organizational way, in a personal way. So when we are speaking about career planning is also interrelated with the organizations and the companies also. This is actually not only about your career planning, but also you should be knowing that what is the other side of the coin. That means what are the organizations or the companies or the corporate who are expecting what from you or will be expecting what. So when you are going to an organization, the organization will always think about the development. That when they are taking you as a human resource, definitely they will be taking you as a ladder to their development. Please remember that. So your career planning will be such, it will be such important that you will be giving fruits to that organization. At the same time, there will be definitely promotion, there will be definitely some increments in the long run when you are going for some companies and which are related to your career plan. So in that, to that personal development, you will be doing such things in the long run, which will be very much important and at the same time very much probable in the long run. Okay, so this is something which is very much important, and you should keep in mind that these type of a thing are something which are actually some occupational positions a person has had over many years, but now in this era of smart career planning, you will be seeing what? You will be seeing that in this era of smart career planning, you will be finding that one position is not based on sitting idle all the time. Gone are those days. So you have to make your career prospects and development in such a way that you grow and you imbibe and you improvise yourself day by day. Teaching is basically an art, but how do we basically transform this art into different sorts of a modern way? That is something which is to be also done through the persons who are bound to have a good way of career planning. So such things are very much important in the long run. So this is something which you should be keeping in mind, that everything is not stagnant. You have to grow, you have to organize, you have to analyze that what are the types of ways and means and the modern techniques. Day by day, you have to improve yourself. So this is something which is very important for you in the long run, and personal development is very much related with the, if there is no personal development, please remember that, especially to the students, because we experienced persons, we know that very well, that if the personal development is not there, then there will be no organizational development. So, of course, there should be a personal development through which you will be able to make the changes in the organizational development. So, such things are very much important for those who are going for the career plan. Now, in organizational development, career development will look like how individuals manage their careers within and between organizations. And at the same time, how organizations structure the career progress of their members. Some good organizations are there who help the persons who are very much methodical and good, so that it can be tied with succession planning within some organizations. Suppose there are a group of organizations, right? There are different types of organizations, groups of organizations, and someone with a great self-development, personal development, who is having a very good method of doing that work, the organization may employ those persons because that person may be having a very good way of career planning. Okay. So something which organizations also believe in, they also believe in the career progress of their members. If such members want to do a PhD, maybe for example, we all know that maybe we get engaged in a job. For example, we get engaged in a job of teaching and we are not PhD. So we are now teaching, maybe for example in a college. So for the progress of the organization, the PhD is very much needed. So the organization, if that person has a smart career plan and is methodical and knows about the ins and outs of the ways and means and the modern ways of teaching, definitely that organization will try to do it in a very proper way, so that the person will be getting at least will be doing a part-time PhD staying in that organization. So this is something which is very common. There are many teachers. I mean, there are many teachers who are working in India, in Kolkata, in our city, who are not teacher trained. Maybe they have not done their Bachelor of Education. But the organization and the school, they believe that the person should be doing the Bachelor of Education or the Master of Education, so that they can prosper in a proper way in life and their organization also has a very good way. So in that way, they can also encourage the individuals such things which are very much important, and those are or career development is something which is very much important. Not only is important for a personal development, but for the organizational development also, it is very, very important. Okay. So till now, is there any questions? Because I think that half an hour has already been has lapsed, and I have done 2 interactions with each one of you. Some of you have already responded to me. That has been quite good, both from the QSU State University as well as Adams University. So, is there any questions still now? If there is none, then I will focus. Okay. So going further to the personal development. So this is something which is very much important. Actually, for the students, for the personal development, career development is basically the total constellation of psychological, sociological, educational, physical, economic, and there are numerous other factors that combine to become a person who will be personally developed. At the same time, the lifelong psychological and behavioral process. There are different processes which are very much important, and one being psychological process and another is behavioral process. So we have this context in a way that in a lifespan, career development involves the person's creation of a career pattern, decision-making process, decision-making style, integration of life roles, values expression, and life role self-concept. So this is something which is very much important. And we find that in the career development or in the career planning role, the role of a personal development is very much important. If we integrate and if we merge all the things in one another, we will find that there are certain things which become very important to know about ourselves, to know about you, and to know that what are the career aspects and what are the career ways which you want to know and what you want to achieve in life. So as I have told you that I have already asked you that do you know the meaning of self-assessment and self-evaluation? So why I asked you purposefully because so that I may know that how much do you know about the self-assessment. So when we go for self-assessment, I have already told you that there are different strategies or processes of career development. So in this strategy, the self-assessment, we are having some of the components or processes like what are the interests of an individual or of a student who is wanting to do the career planning. The skills which he or she have actually have in him or her. The personality, the way the personality is there, the values. So something which is very much important is that if you don't have the values or the personality, then it becomes very much important and at the same time imperative. Okay. Next is when we are going to have a career planning in a micro way. In the first slide itself, I have told you that there should be a micro level and there is actually a macro level too. So when we are going for this macro level, we find that we will have to do a lot of industry research. A lot of industry research needs to be done. Why? Because in which industry you are wanting to go. Industry is not only the industry which is related to a pharma company or a corporate company. Industry for us teachers, the industry can also be a school, college or a university. Okay. So this is something we will have to do a lot of industry research. At the same time, we will have to do a preparation or a focus. Okay. So the focus point or a preparation should be one where we will be knowing about the ways and the means through which we will be doing our assessment or we will be doing our smart career planning, that in which field or in which job, in which organization we are trying to do or trying to get into. Then there should be a job search and at the same time a career management. When we are going for a job search, previously there should be a planning, as I have already told you. If we are not going for planning, then it will be futile that maybe we will be going haywire. We will be going here and there and finding out one or two ways, but that would be totally a shortcut. It will not be a elaboration. And of course, I have already spoken to you about the career management. This career management is very much important. If you won't be able to manage your career after the career planning, that it becomes futile in the long run. So there also are some barriers. I can understand that everything is not so fruit bearing, not so flowery or rosy at the same time. So there are certain ways where we find that there are some disadvantages or barriers. Though we want to attain in a positive way, but still there are some disadvantages, like lack of time to plan, lack of time to undertake the training and development. Maybe we are wanting to do a training and development about the career planning and other aspects related to it, but unfortunately we don't have that. We cannot undertake that. Then at the same time, it is very important nowadays proper leadership. So when there is no leadership support, when no one is supporting you actually, then of course it will not be possible for the person. So this is one of the barriers. Then short term, if you are looking only at the micro goals, then it is not possible. And then also in certain countries or certain states, there are lack of career opportunities also. Maybe if you want to go for a certain career plan, that opportunity is not present in your country. And maybe it is not possible for you to move out of that country. So this is something which is very important to know also, that there are certain barriers, certain aspects through which we will be knowing the barriers also. When we are speaking about so much advantages, there are disadvantages also. So when you are going for the career planning micro level, or rather the smart career planning in the micro level, you will be finding that these are some of the things which you will have to see first of all, that these are the barriers, and if you actually have this knowledge that what can be the barriers, then only you will be able to overcome the barriers, and you will have to make a proper smart plan for your career plan. Okay. And regarding the career management, it is basically the process of preparing, implementing, and monitoring career plans, undertaken by the individual alone or in combination with the organization's career system. Like for example, I have told you about the B.Ed and the PhD. Okay. So this is something which is very much important. Managing, planning a career is important, but after that, managing that career is far more important. And there are some of the factors you must remember while selecting a career. That is intelligence level, personality level, your interest level, the aptitude level, gender, age, and at the same time soft skills. So there are some of the jobs or some of the careers still now. I am not undermining any type of a gender, but there are still some taboos related to certain gender related issues, which are very much important to know, that who are the ones who are to be selected in the long run or who are not. Maybe in this democratic world, we don't spell about it much, but being a blatant educationist for the last 20 years, I believe that there are some jobs which are still rooted only for males and only for females also. Okay, so this is something which is very much important. At the same time, there are certain goals to achieve in guidance that you will have to explore and you will have to achieve. Like you have to explore yourself, that what are the things which you want to do in your career plan? What are the values? How do you set the goals? Because the goal setting is something which is very important. The research and exploration about the world of work in which you are going to enter, your efficiency. I have already told you that nowadays the role of a teacher is not only teaching. It is also about to improvise, to deal with modern methods, to do modern research, to do creative research, to go for self-assessment, to go for peer-to-peer teaching, to go for team teaching. So these are some of the aspects and aspirations which are very much important. So don't actually underestimate or overestimate any sort of a situation. At the same time, you have to build your relationship. You have to accept responsibility for the future. I have already told you that when you are going for the smart career plan, there are certain responsibilities which you need to do for the future also. So that is also a part of career management. And we find that this is something which is very important. Other than that, it becomes very much disengaged, and at the same time very much something which does not have any interest to us in the long run. Okay, so this is something which is very important. Now I have prepared a chart related to the teacher as a counselor, because here I have told you previously also that teacher is a facilitator. Teacher is a mentor. Teacher is gone at those days where the teachers were the autocratic person. Now teachers have become more important as a student-friendly teacher, as a counselor, as your guide. So a teacher's role is to help the students in adjusting their surroundings, helping students in their studies. This is also a part of the career plan. When you help your students for studies, you get to know what are their career aims and aspirations are, and how you will be helping them in their careers. Also, to give awareness that how education is important. Also, to make them understand that what is the meaning of rational education or rational decision. At the same time, a teacher should be solving a student's learning problem, helping the students with their learning routine. When the teacher actually gets fully involved, then only they will be able to know that what are the career aspects and career planning and the career management ways which they are having. Then, of course, they may refer to the school counselor if they are very much confused about their career planning aspects. Cooperation or cooperating with the school counselor, and at the same time cooperating with the parents. So that is something which is also very much important, because in certain ways we find that students are more or less very much involved in their educational institutions. At some part of the time they are at their homes, but of course most of the time they are either in the educational institution or in their residence. There have been very few instances where they have been in the adolescence period. In fact, I remember very well that mentally we were with the friends actually. We were with our teachers in the educational institutions only. So that is something which is very, very much important, that parents should also have a good knowledge and understanding to a teacher. So that is why regularly the career development plan, the career planning, when the students are going in the 11th, 12th grade or in the university or college level, they will be having a good rapport with the parents also, especially in the growing up years, when they are going for the career planning, because from the 9th, 10th standard onwards, we find nowadays that there is a career planning need, right? Now we go to the SWOT analysis. While going for every planning, maybe career planning, maybe career management, maybe for every individual level, SWOT analysis is very much listed. Actually, SWOT is very much related to the management, but now it is very much related to the educational management also. So, SWOT, this is actually, if we divide this into different ways, which I will be coming later. So SWOT is actually a technique that enables a group or individual to move from everyday problems and traditional strategies to a fresh perspective. So as I have already told you beforehand, there is something which is very much important that we improvise or we develop ourselves into the modern strategies. So, SWOT or SWOT is the acronym. Basically, we call it not, sometimes we call it a T, sometimes we call it a C also. Okay. So, SWOT is an acronym for S for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunities, and C for challenges. So, strength, weakness, these are basically the internal environmental challenges which one person has. For the opportunities and challenges, we have to go for the external environment. So this is something which is very, very important. And it becomes very much important in the long run that as a person, how much do you know about your strengths and weaknesses? Here comes the part of self-assessment and self-evaluation. And then for the opportunities and challenges, you have to have a know-how about the career planning, career development, as well as organizational development. So this is something which is related to external environment. So a strength is something which is your strength actually. Not only your strength, but you are also the organizational strength. Okay, and it is actually a competitive advantage in the market. Now, what are the weaknesses? Any existing or potential force which could be a barrier to maintaining or achieving competitive advantage in the market. Market may be something which is related to your profession also. Market is not only related to the MBA or BBA. Market can also be a student or a class who are actually your target audience. That can also be a market or a community. An opportunity, it is basically a potential force in the external environment, and if we properly leverage it, it can now become a competitive edge in the long run. So such things are very much important. Now, for example, if there is a geographical location of an organization may be very good, new technology in a school, that can also be something which is very important in the long run. Okay. Now, threats or challenges, any existing or potential force in the external environment that could erode a competitive advantage. So this is something which is very, very important. Like some schools in the context of teaching, if there is a school who has a very good and fast popularity, and besides that, a new technology school also is being founded. So that becomes a threat actually. We find that that are the things which are very much important in the long run. So what is the aim of SWOT or SWOT analysis? It is actually to take advantage of the strengths and opportunities and to minimize the weaknesses and eliminate the threats. So for every career planning aspects or goals or for career management, SWOT analysis is very much required. And someone who needs a SWOT or a SWOT analysis is a company, a department or a business unit, a job holder. Someone who is now going to plan a career. So that is someone who needs the SWOT or a SWOT analysis. Okay. And some in the context of the company, when the revenue, cost and expense target are not being achieved, market share is dropping, industry conditions are not favorable, and they want to launch a new business venture. So this is for a company. For a department or for a business unit, when the team is not meeting the target, when there is a proposition for a new business venture, when the new team leader is appointed, etc. Now comes the most important part for a job holder. When the supervisor has issues with the work output, when the person is assigned to a new job after the career planning and management stage, the implementation stage. So there is a new financial year with fresh targets. Job holder seeks to improve performance on the job. So these are the things which are very much important. At the same time, we find that for this work analysis, if we want to perform this work analysis, we have to analyze the internal and external environment, perform work analysis and document it, and prepare action plan. So this is very much important. These three steps not only are important, but these are very, very important. Like the internal and external environment analysis, how do the SWOT analysis is being performed, and we need to document it and also to prepare the action plan. So some of the benefits of work or SWOT is solving problems, implementing change, and also to develop strategies for achieving the organizational objectives as well as the mission. So also at the same time, SWOT is very much related to brainstorming, and you have to think something outside the box, nothing which is within that box. Then various types of ideas or perspectives, group discussion, liberty to say your mind, willingness to break away from traditional methods, appetite for change. So this is something which is very important. So there are some brainstorming rules. Everyone must participate. No idea is stupid. Everyone's contribution is valid and important. You don't have to agree with anyone else. Build on the ideas of others. Use initial ideas as a jumping off point for more ideas. Be open-minded. As I have told you in the very start, always ask questions. Seek first to understand before being understood. And have fun. When you are working, don't only work and work. You also have fun also. So these are some of the sample questions. Which strengths are unique to the team? What are we good at doing? What are the things that have gone well? What should have been the better in the future for the context of business? What knowledge do we lack? Which skills do we lack? Which system do we need to change? What the opportunities? What are the key success enablers? Which additional services can we offer? What are the markets which we should investigate? At the same time, challenges, barriers to progress. What may be the barriers to progress? What are the possible impacts of what competitors are doing? What regulatory issue might cause us concern? So these are some of the ways and aspirations, sample questions for SWOT analysis, which is very much important. I will also, since this is a workshop, I will request each and everyone to have the SWOT worksheet for yourself. Understood, students? I hope that I have made you understood that you also, when you are going for a career planning, you should have a SWOT or SWOT. T is for threat or C for challenges, whatever. It can be SWOT or it can be SWOT also. So it can be T, it can be C also. Okay. So you may jot it down. It will be good for your macro ways, that what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities, what are the threats. Okay, so this is something which you will be able to know. So it can be SWOT, it can be SWOT also. And then, since I have told already that this is a workshop, so you will be doing certain things. So what, who, when target. So these are some of the career planning strategies and action plans. You may note it down for the long run, because for your self-development, for your career planning, the SWOT analysis and the strategies and action plans will be very much required. This will come in handy in the long run. Okay, so this is some of the context through which I have tried to get the career planning and the career development process. So you have to self-assess yourself. you have to assess the career skills which you are having. In a nutshell, you have to set up your career objectives, then your career development plan, then you will have to implement your plan, and finally get the most out of your career. So this is actually a full circle. Self-assessment, career skills assessment, setting your career objectives, career development plan, implement your plan, and at the same time get the most out of your career. Okay, so this becomes a full circle, starting from self-assessment, self-evaluation, till getting the most out of your career. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking to you all. I believe that I have tried to give you a certain bit of knowledge about career planning, and I think that all of you have imbibed from the same regarding this aspect. So any questions or any interactions which you need to have with me, you are most welcome. I have tried to discuss in this 1 hour time about career planning, and I hope that you are able to give your aspirations or ideas and everything which you feel. Okay, so at least give me a feedback, either positive or a negative, if you don't have any questions, that you have been benefited from this session, because both the universities, Queen State University as well as Adamath University School of Education, they both the faculties are trying their level best to give knowledge and give you a very much information about your future benefits, about your future careers, about your future research aspirations. Thank you very much. So over to the organizer. If there is no other question.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prathita, for the wonderful lecture. Indeed, our students learned a lot from the lecture. Are there any questions from our students? Because Dr. Prathita do not want me to participate in the discussion.
No, definitely. No, now you can participate, sir, because I just wanted to know from the students. We all know very much that you are very much enlightened.
Yes,
You will be knowing. You are a professor, right? So I
yes,
wanted to know that what are their interests, because many of them are going for the career planning and career development, right? So I wanted to know that how much macro planning at least they have, so that they know about the self-assessment and self-evaluation.
yes.
But sir, definitely you can tell us, you can share, because now our students will be ready to listen.
All right.
What to you, sir?
I think one of the students here raised his hand. Regain, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Should I say good morning, everyone?
Good afternoon.
My question is, when we are doing SWOT analysis or SWOT analysis, is it okay to ask help from career guidance counselor?
Yeah, can you please repeat? When we are doing SWOT analysis,
Yes, ma'am. Is it okay to ask a help from career guidance counselor?
yes, definitely. If you are very much interested for that particular career, and if you are going for the SWOT analysis, you can definitely take the help of your teacher or your specialized counselor. Because if you are finding it very much difficult and confusing, then it will be better that you take the help of experienced persons. Like sir, Professor Bautista is here. You can always, I'm sure that you will be asking him also for your counseling and for his expertise and counseling, because he is way a lot experienced in this context. So he can also act as a as your mentor or a counselor. Okay, I hope that I can answer your question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Radian.
much, ma'am.
Professor Bautista, we would also like to know from you, because our students will also be wanting to know from you also about the self-assessment and self-evaluation, because that would be a very good exchange also.
I think Dr. Kamayang is here. Dr. Jamina. Dr. Jamina. Because Dr. Jamina is a guidance counselor.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and her expertise is on guidance counseling. At any rate, when before Dr. Kamayang will speak, you know, it's always good to be with the giants, and I know you have your own giants, whom you consider as giants, personally and professionally. We are just here for you to be guided on your career path. Okay, don't be hesitate. Don't be hesitant enough to reach out and ask for our advices. Okay, because definitely we are here to lead you into better profession. Okay,
Yeah.
and how you're going to be responsive to the calls of this profession. You know, this profession is said to be the noblest profession of all. And as a teacher, we have everything is expected of us, and much is expected before us. So please do not hesitate to consult us, and we are here. Perhaps sooner or later, you can also contact Dr. Biswas for a professional guidance. Okay, and some other Adamas University professors. Okay,
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much.
thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you for every session. I believe, rather we believe, along with my colleagues, that it's been a learning process. So when I'm speaking, I'm also learning. So when someone asks me questions, I feel that through that question, through that answer, and through that dialogue, which you have also set, it is basically a learning process for me as well. So it's been enlightening, and the session is very much enlightening in the context of career planning. And I thank all of you for participating. And even in this afternoon time, there are 190 plus participants, which I feel very much motivated, because due to the participant spirit, a speaker actually does a lot of speaking. So it motivates the speaker. So thank you so much. So I think,
Doctor,
yes.
Doctor, there is another comment here from Joel Orpilia from Quirino State University. Joel,
Okay.
you can share your thoughts. It would be better if you will be the one to share your thoughts. Joel?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello po.
Hello,
ma'am.
hello.
Turn on your camera
Hello.
so others will see you.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir.
Hello, hello.
Ma'am, I want to ask, here in the Philippines, we have the NCAI, or the National Career Assessment Examination,
Sorry.
in order to guide the students in choosing the right career for them. How about in India, ma'am?
Okay, so since we are based in a university, and we have a large number of departments. So here for the career aspirations, we are having a specialized guidance and counseling and the career development cell. We are also having a psychological, since we also have a department of psychology. So we also take the psychological profiling of the students also. So that also is a part of the career planning and development. At the same time, there are a lot of institutions who offer about the career development and career planning aspirations, and the students can openly have their self-assessment as well as self-evaluation. So these are some of the ways through which we actually help the students to have their career planning in the long run. But from the university, it is very important. Our learning from this context starts right from our university, that is Adamas University. And the School of Education is also one department where we are also having this guidance and counseling section as well. Okay, thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Joel.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I hope
Thank you.
our university will also adopt that kind of action plans.
Sure,
Thank you.
sure. We are learning from each other, definitely.
Are there any more questions? I think there's no more question from our students. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Prathita for the wonderful lecture. Indeed, we are learning from each other, and this is the benefit of, international exchange program, that we learn from each other,
Right.
knowing the knowing the advantages of this as international good practice. We learn from each other. We learn to coexist together despite our differences. But as I said before, no matter how different are we, but we are one as family in building friendship regardless of our race. And I thank SOE of Adamas University for the opportunity to be with you in this exclusive 2-month-long program. Thank you very much. So on Friday, we're going to have another topic, and it's going to be on the 21st century school with another SOE faculty. Okay, so the topic is escalating, and I hope everybody will be participating on that day. At least we are now burning our interest, and I'm happy that at least students are interacting now, and I expect more interaction from our students in the next lectures. Okay, so thank you very much. The last code is actually B4. Okay, without much ado, thank you very much. Good afternoon now in India, and almost good evening here in the Philippines. It's becoming 5 o'clock, and it's starting to dark. Okay, so thank you very much, and see you all on Friday via Zoom again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much. I forgot to give the link for the attendance. Hold on. Please do not end the call yet, because I'm going to give the link
Sure, no problem.
for the attendance.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Pragyan, I am just giving the, what's this, everyone?
Actually, there is a network issue. That is why. Just a minute, sir.
Okay, Doctor.
Okay, so I have copied that message. Programmer,
Yes, ma'am.
I have copied that message which Bautista sir has given to us, I mean the attendance link.
The attendance link is present in the chat box now.
Yes.
Thank
And
you
I
very
am sharing with all my colleagues also. I think there is a network issue here. So no
Yes, sir.
problem. Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. See you again on Friday,
Sure,
our
sir.
Indian friends, our giant brothers and sisters. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
sir. Thank you so much. Again, we'll be meeting on 25th of March. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.